Hello there.
Welcome back, my friend.
Hello, what have we here?
Jedi, we've been expecting you.
Knew I could count on you.
Hello.
Welcome to the rebellion. What fun!
Hey everyone, Hybrid here, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Star Wars The Black Series, Rook Kast, as she appears in Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord. This show did not disappoint. Every character in it was written very well, and I was so excited to see Rook Kast carry on from the Clone Wars Season 7, actually become a bit of a character instead of a background glup shitto. It's awesome getting some beloved voice actors or actresses back. This time we get Vanessa Marshall back from Star Wars Rebels fame, one of the nicest people I've gotten to meet at a Comic-Con, and it's just a great-looking action figure. It's a great-looking design. Once those promo photos came out a while ago, I was pretty confident she was going to end up being one of the top 10 figures of the year. I still think she's in the running, so let's go ahead, take a closer look at this packaging, and then dive into the review, because I, like you, want to know, is Rook Kast a pickup for the collection? Let's go. And here's Rook Kast still in the packaging. Let's take a quick look at that. This is your standard Black Series box with your Black Series logo above a big window showing her and her accessories off nicely. She's number 2 in the Maul Shadow Lord line. You have her name, warning, 4+ Hasbro logos. Got a cool art of her on the side and a really cool pose, her name at the bottom of that. This side features your wraparound window, wraparound stripe, any Black Series logo. Around back you have a zoom in of that side art of Black Series logo. The bio of the show, because this came out really close to airing, in 5 different languages. Pause and read whichever language best applies to you. She's number 2 in the Shadow Lord lineup. You get your Disney logo, your Hasbro logo, and then a ton of legal information. More legal down below with a barcode and a hanger tab up top. Very standard Black Series packaging. If you've seen a Black Series box, you know what you're getting. Let's go ahead and open her up and see what's going on here. Here's Rook Kast out of the packaging with her accessories. Let's go ahead and dive right into those. We'll start by taking a look at the pistols. These are very, very similar to prior sculpts we've seen for like those Mandalorian Westar pistols, if you will. That's what she has in the show. They are in a dark, dark gray plastic with a little bit of silver down the barrel and then some red underneath. However, these are 2 unique sculpts because if you look at them, they are mirrored, but they do have a little peg on each side. You see they're mirrored. Now let me show you how those work. So she does carry them rather well in her hands. You know, they are a secure fit once you work them in, and that is fine, but she does have weapon storage while she doesn't have a working holster. You see there are those little ports on the thighs, or I guess not on the thighs, but on like the outer thigh plating, and you just gotta peg them on like so. And this is what she does in the show. They just boom, snap on, and that is how her weapon storage works. So they recreated that in action figure form fairly nice. Gotta say, little teeny tiny peg, but it is a rubbery like skirt overlay. I guess they aren't going anywhere. Yeah, that's pretty secure, right? Except when you start posing her, they do knock off somewhat easy. Now, looking at this head sculpt, she does look very, very nice. She kind of has purpley hair with purpley blue eyes, a lot of eyeshadow going on, the dark lipstick. Pretty accurate to the show. If anything, they made her prettier than the animated model in figure form. That's kind of not what I expected, but it does look very nice. She's got some very nice textured hair going on, all pulled to the back like so. And the reason I'm talking about this is because we're probably not going to look at the head sculpt too much more because of the helmet. Now, Black Series is known for its removable helmets and them having to be a little bit oversized, right? It doesn't typically bother me, especially like on the Clone Troopers and the other Mandalorians. Like, they're not that large, but her helmet in universe has this taper at the bottom to where, gosh, it would have to be ginormous, because if you actually put it next to her head, you see her head is bigger than the helmet. It just physically wouldn't fit in this. It would have to be enormous for it. So the people that have been saying, I want swappable heads, have won the argument on this one. I don't want this across the board for the line, because ultimately I now have to not lose this, and that's just not going to work. I'm going to lose that. But this is a compelling display as well. She wears her helmet a lot in the Clone Wars. We do see her in Clone Wars Season 7. But in the Shadow Lord series, unless she's in battle, she really doesn't wear the helmet a whole lot. So you really could go either way with how you display her on this. You know, you could display her like holding the helmet in her hand, you know, while the head is on the figure. But, you know, but then, like, gosh, you can't put her in any awesome battle poses. And she does an awesome battle pose well. Looking at this helmet, You know, it is a Mandalorian deco. You have the red stripes and the black deco, and she has a maroon overlay, or not overlay, just a maroon color scheme over the entire figure. All of her armor has a lot of maroon coloring. She's got a gray jumpsuit underneath, and then some black wrappings over top, whether it be like straps on the thighs, or the thigh-high boots going on, or the wraps under the forearms. I like the ab armor there. It's very unique. It's a very unique Mandalorian, look. She's not reusing any other Mandalorian parts that I know of. She has a very unique look in the show, and it's been translated very nicely. She has that kind of weird, wide, not tall jetpack that we see some Mandalorians use in Clone Wars Season 7, so that's really cool to see make its way to the line, although it is permanently affixed. It does not come off. I like the little gray highlights on the armor plates there. You have a lot of little paint hits, all the black, on all these like cutouts on the thigh. You want to call it a comma, but I think it is actually a piece of metal. It's not fabric, but they've made it, rubber in this case to get out of the way of articulation. But just a very, very interesting design with a whole lot of deco going on. And she just generally does look very good. It's one of those things where you almost wish maybe she had a little bit of a wash, because there's like a lot of crevices in this armor, but there's a lot of paint going on in the first place. Something I like is you do have some of that texture going on in the black paint of the helmet there. It's very fitting with the animation style of the show, but it feels like it's been brought to real life rather than just an animated style. So that's a very nice look. And yeah, she's just got the, the decoing. There's a skull on her shoulder. Looks very, very cool. Very cool action figure. Let's run through some articulation. As I mentioned, she is a new sculpt, so hopefully, there's some modern articulation. She has that double ball neck system. Wearing the helmet, she can look that far up. She can look that far down. Not quite bury the chin, but that's all right. Side to side, and all the attitude you could want. She gives everyone attitude but Maul. That's just how it should be. She comes up to a T-pose. There's a good butterfly joint in there. 360 at the shoulders. The shoulder pads are, of course, on that ring around the joint in there. The single jointed elbows go way past 90 and then swivel. There's a gauntlet swivel, which actually would make sense if we just aligned her, attachments are usually on the outside. I like she's got like the whistling birds looking thing and some communicators and, little yellow punch-ins. She has, ball jointed wrists in there. Those are nice to see. And then she has that mid-torso ball joint. Allows her to crunch that far forward, which is basically nothing, but that's all right. She can go that far back, which is fine. You got some swivel and pivot in there. She can do that wide of splits, which is pretty nice considering the rubber, like skirt thing going on. Her legs can kick straight forward, a little bit back. Is there a thigh swivel? Just on that ball joint in there, which is fine. We don't really care about thigh swivel in the Great 26. Single jointed knees go about to 90. Is that knee pad getting in the way? It might be a little bit. Gets to 90, that's enough. And then it swivels at the knee like so. The knee pad can raise up to like get out of the way of different positions, I guess. Can we push it up the thigh and see if we get more? Yeah, it's out of the way now. It doesn't really get any more. So push that back down, cover that ugly knee joint, and then the feet can point straight down, a little bit forward, and a forward-facing pin for rocker, allowing you to get her into some decently wide stances with both feet flat on the ground. So, all in all, she has all of the best modern articulations going on, and she likes to lean forward and try and tip over. There you go. She looks pretty good. So here's Rook Kast with some other Maul Shadow Lord figures, and I think the scaling works rather well here. Darth Maul is not the tallest guy, but is slightly taller than her. I think that definitely fits, and well, Devin Azar is not taller than anyone, so I guess that fits there too. But all in all, yeah, it makes for a nice little display, and I'm excited here in a few more days to finally get my 11th brother. That's going to be a fun review. So at the end of the day, what do I think of the new Rook Kast figure? Oh gosh, she's excellent. I don't have the 11th brother in hand yet, so I can't speak for sure, but there's a pretty good chance that she is the figure of the wave. That unique sculpt is just oh so good. Again, not the biggest fan of like having the swappable head, but I understand why they had to do it in this case. I just hope it doesn't become the trend, It sounds like it might be, but for now, it's just like, what are you going to do? I'm going to lose the other head, and that's just how it goes. It's going to go in a parts bin. I'm never going to see it again. But I'm going to put the helmet on her, and that's probably how she's going to be on the shelf forever anyways, so who cares? But she looks great. I love the way the pistols, store on the hips, the little pegs that peg in. It just looks so nice. Just a great, great looking figure. If you are a fan of Clone Wars Season 7, she would fit on that shelf with the Mandalorians. If you like Maul Shadow Lord, which I hope you do if you're watching this video, she'd look great on that Maul Shadow Lord shelf. I highly recommend her. There's a couple of places you could put her in your collection. You could put her on a Mandalorian shelf if you don't have shelves for those other shows. I highly recommend picking her up. She's just a very fun one. So that's all I got to say. Thanks a bunch for watching. It means a lot that you did. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that end of video stuff. You know the drill. I'm going to go work on something else now. So until next time, may the Force be with you. I'll catch you next time. Have a good one. Bye.